They said Gray paved the way, changed the rate, release the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter sets, high and deadly, I'm a fighter jet, Jeremy.
Muffins Martinez said we got another show. We were struggling with thinking we only had one. Muff just talked because me and Rob have no idea what's going on.
So a couple of days ago, a fan on Twitter asked Kamille Brickhouse, is she signed?
We're on this.
Is she signed?
I thought we were done with AEW.
Is she signed? And she said she's been signed since February. Well, today Twitter went on his job, and somebody, Alvarez, somebody, whatever, has mentioned that she's already officially signed with AEW. So, if Kamille is truly signed with AEW, what is going to happen next? Who is she going to face in AEW? They already have Mercedes Moné, who they threw the bag at, and is going after the TBS title. Where's Kamille going to fit in this when now you have Diana Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa going at it? Now
Wait. How do they know she's there? Because you telling me Tony Khan wouldn't have wanted to do one of those, I got a big announcement.
That's what I said in the chat. Like we brought that up, that tweet, the original tweet.
One of those fake writers, because they call them fake writers. Some guy named, one of those fake, writers or whatever. Because I still want to know what makes you a legit wrestling writer. Did you go to school and actually got a degree in communications or sports journalism to be labeled a writer in wrestling? I want to know. But anyways,
called having a Twitter account.
Yeah, one of those guys, last name Alvarez or some shit like that, have mentioned that she's already been signed and for a while with AEW. So my question to us is, where is she going to fit? I'm telling you now you got Serena Deeb going after Tony Storm. You have Monet going after Willow. You have On the Rosa going up against Diana Purrazzo. Like, where is
Paige is there
going to go in this? There's so many females that don't have enough time to shine, and now everything's revolving around the same 6 females now going forward. And you have 3 shows in ROH Light, and you still can't get your own women enough time on TV.
Rob, you see what he did again, right? He left out my girl Paige. He said there's 6 girls circling around. He left my girl Paige out.
Pasty whiteout has no business doing in wrestling anyways.
Yo, is it because she's really white? You got a problem with her or something? The girl's fucking talented.
She doesn't do anything.
You can't get a tan.
She doesn't do anything. When was the last time she had a match?
She doesn't do anything. Stop it, bro.
When was the last time she had a match at AEW?
You don't. It's wrestling. You don't have to have a match to be part of the product.
It's been months. All she does is talk in the back, and now the person she was feuding got pregnant, so now she's gone. So now what's she gonna do now?
Yeah, she's having a baby and all that.
Yeah, congrats to her.
What happened to Britt Baker?
She's been injured.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Damn, she's got that bug then.
Dude, everybody there got that bug.
It's just going around. Like everybody's in the big leagues. Everybody's injured.
All right, so you're saying, all right, you're saying
my question to you guys is, where does she fit? Where do you guys see Kamille? If it's true,
okay, but hold on, because if she goes to WWE, I think me and Rob were talking about this. It's stacked. What are you going to fucking put her in NXT, Kamille?
If she goes to WWE, she has to be in NXT.
How?
Where are they going to put her at? Especially now with all the cuts that are going to happen now.
You sit there, you've been signed since February, you haven't done shit, you're not on TV, and you're not even good enough to be on NXT for months, just sitting at your couch getting paid? Bro, stop. Camille's the kind of person that goes right to the top.
Which means she's not signed with WWE.
Yeah, but if she was signed with fucking AEW, he would have he ain't holding no fucking juice this long.
How long she held Monet for?
Well, she was with New Japan, right?
and she was injured, like full on injured. Like she's
still injured now, still.
But she's cleared enough to actually at least walk into a ring.
Okay, so she still hasn't got a clearance to wrestle at the next pay-per-view when she's supposed to wrestle against William Nightingale. So she still has clearance.
Is your theory of what she would come in as AEW as kind of like fucking Tony Khan's bodyguard because he gets fucked up now?
Dude, you never know.
Oh, come on.
That would be awesome.
She's not a spring chicken either. It's not like she's 20.
First of all, she'll be the white version of Jade Cargill.
Yo, bro, why is everything fucking white girl this, white girl that? This shit is crazy with you.
The same build, the same everything. Boom. She could be the bodyguard of Tony Khan.
Kamille
Tony
is a
Khan's
better wrestler.
Be Tony Khan's China. That would be great.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's Tony Khan's China, or it'll be the insurance policy like they did with Magnus.
Exactly.
Bro, come on. She's way too.
Her job.
She is one of the top females. I don't care in any industry. The girl can talk. She's a good-looking woman. She's physically gifted. She's all aspects. She's a 5-tool player. Why would she be a fucking bodyguard to the CEO?
Because he just got his ass kicked.
So you gonna have her thugging out little 5'2" midgets?
Yes. Makes sense.
Come on.
Makes sense to me. She could beat up the whole elite. She could beat the whole elite by herself. Rob K.
Rob, you've been quiet too long. Please jump in this.
See, the problem is I'm trying to be quasi-diplomatic and not doom and gloom about this. I am actually, as I said, I was kind of like surprised, like when I saw the news that she's possibly been signed with AEW, and then her comment about it makes me wonder if she's been screwed with the fans, I've been signed since February because Tony Khan likes his big announcements, so I'm kind of surprised he would have sat on it this long, but I actually question where she fits, and actually in both companies I do question where she fits, because both I mean, going to the WWE aspect of it, their talent roster is stacked too. Though I will argue that Kamille could jump over a lot of the NXT women and still be able to make an impact. No pun intended. But I really don't know where a lot of top named women talent fits in AEW, because the only reason we're getting 2 women's segments right now is because allegedly part of Mercedes's deal to get her in was basically that either, depending on who you want to listen to, either A, she gets an extra segment or her storyline gets an extra segment, or B, there had to be at least 2 women's segments in Dynamite. But Tony Khan is notoriously not good at booking a women's division, just in general, or at least when he does, what's done best is usually in Ring of Honor, where no one can watch it easily.
Do you think that there's a chance that he makes a women's division, like a women's a weekly show?
I would love it. I would honestly love it, but I don't see him doing it.
Because the success of what was the one that they were doing? Was it Glow? I think they was doing Glow.
Ooh, wow.
Glow's.
It was an all-female show that
Glow's back.
But it had, and then you had another female show, and it was successful. So I'm wondering if maybe he's smart enough to say, "All right, this shit is working," and he's got a talented roster for women.
What I'm saying, recently?
Yeah, I say really the only women's company that I'm aware of that has an actual TV deal is Glow, or WOW. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, WOW.
It's doing like 1 million views, right? It was doing crazy numbers.
I think it's in their Paramount, and they do more views than Impact, N.W.A, and MLW. So
yeah. So
yeah, but Tony Khan books ultimately for Tony Khan. You could argue we could talk about all of his dream matches, but Tony Khan ultimately books things that he wants to see as a fan, and we could try to make the argument is that just Tony Khan in general, despite some glimpses of brilliance, is just not a big fan of women's wrestling overall. And whether it's Tony or if that's the network, I don't know. And see, there goes the problem. Getting a women's show, like where are they going to put it? Like, is that part of the Discovery Warner Brothers deal? Like, are they just going to chuck it back up on the YouTube? Which once they changed the Discovery deal, they nuked all of their online programming, and so it's all all televised outside of Ring of Honor, which is on its own streaming app. So, what are you going to do with an all women's show? I would love to see an all women's show. Like, there's enough women. I mean, just with an AEW to do it, but like, no one's been really willing to pull a trigger on a televised women's wrestling show. Like, yeah, the pay-per-views do well. Like, obviously, Empowered did great, which Tony Khan helped fund that. WWE has had their Mae Young Classics and their women's pay-per-view, as well, and that's done good numbers. But like, no one else is like
TNA did them too with the knockout thing. And they were really
and back in the day, the knockouts were the highest rated segment in TNA.
One night only.
Yeah.
There's a market for it. It's just no one seems to be willing to pull a trigger for it. And Tony Khan included, because he gives me like maybe 2 segments, and both of them right now, one of them involves the women's heavyweight women's world championship, and the other features Mercedes Moné, which, like, again, you could argue like she's arguably the biggest women's wrestling star in the world right now, so you do try to shoehorn her in wherever, but like there's a bunch of people that they're not doing a whole lot with outside of Ring of Honor, which again is behind a paywall and hidden away forever.
Yeah. And Raw, nothing, SmackDown, nothing, but you watch NXT, dude, half of the show is all females stuff, and you're like, wow, imagine WWE says, something, we could do this and do an all female show for an hour or even 2 hours and a half. They'll have everybody there on NXT, and you could bring females from up there, have them down here, and they haven't pulled the figure on that yet. So if they haven't, nobody else is going to.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of like surprised that they haven't, because again, like, since I don't know at a certain level how much control they have over the network now that it's part of Peacock, but like they technically have their own network as well, so they could do the equivalent of Ring of Honor with it, and just stash it away. But yeah,
and Peacock just announced they're going up $2. So
listen.
Yeah, if you pay the $10.99, it's now $12.99 starting next month, I think, or something like that.
So with Muffins was what he's saying. Here's my problem, right? Like we say, WWE is super stacked, and you got young talent like Roxy or whatever her name is there in NXT. AEW would, in the equivalent of a young high buzz character, we would say Billy Starks came in with that kind of Roxy buzz, right? So the 2 super young girls they have under their roster with a bunch of veterans that are super talented, that their names ring supreme. Like me and Rob were saying, Kamille being out of the limelight kind of was like, okay, people actually talking about this again. If you go in there and you don't show out, or the fans don't get behind you, you get lost in that shuffle where I'm not going to tell nobody don't get the bag, get the bag. But at the end of the day, you also got to be smart, because the bag doesn't keep your longevity in this industry. You lose that fan base and they kind of, she's all right, whatever. You just set yourself for one bag, and who knows after that. If she sat there and said, you know what, I'm going to be a big fish in a small pond. I'll go to Impact. They got their monthly everythings, and I'm going to dominate the women's division. And they're on an up. They're on the up. They're moving up. They're doing the right things. They're on the come up. You go, well, MLW is kind of in a weird state. Maybe I don't want to fuck with MLW. But you go to MLW, you're the top dog, right? If you stay in N.W.A, what are you really going to do? You've dominated everything. You've been the most physical, dominant specimen they've seen. You were part of I forgot the name, that it was Bram, Magnus, and somebody else. They had their own little group. They had like jackets and shit like that.
Oh shit! What the whole thing?
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
she was his insurance policy.
Yeah.
So she was always tied around the top of the scene. And then she gets her own shit. She becomes her own woman. She dominates. It becomes, Kamille is the most important thing to N.W.A. You got to move on. Going somewhere else, best of luck to you. But NXT, yeah, all right. Let's see how you do against these girls. But eventually, when you get called up, Now you got to compete with the Becky Lynches and all these other girls who are WWE staples. AEW,
and you know, some of them aren't going anywhere, like unless they're injured, like Charlotte or Becky.
Yeah, you know, and you sit back and go, oh shit, right? Like Jade Cargill's there, she's becoming a WWE girl, right? Like she's their product now. AEW has their girls, the Dr. Britt Bakers, People Love Willow, oh shit, the Asian girl who was their first or second champion, whatever she was. Like there's a bunch of talent there that they're AEW girls.
Well, Riho,
I think.
Riho's come back. Hikaru Shida's been killing it as well, but she's been floating around quasi aimless as well.
So there's a lot of talent that flies under those flags. Now, if you go to the Impacts, the MLWs.
Now, one question. Now, she's been out of wrestling now going on 5 months. Like, how much longer did you have to wait before she comes back, before her name gets forgotten by everybody?
I already forgot about her. I am not going to lie.
Too.
Yeah, so,
like, she released that one, like, nifty little video, like, dropping.
We talked about that.
Names. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
And then, like, there was, like, almost radio silence after that. And I totally forgot about her existence until like the rando. She responded to a rando on Twitter.
Yeah, so it's been 5 months now, and nothing of her anywhere. So when she does make that appearance, are people going to even care that there's Kamille now?
I think it would definitely would have. I think it definitely would have depended on where she ended up. Like, if she ended up in the big two, I don't think people will care that much because there's so much other stuff to actually care about. Like, yeah, she's going to get a reaction because there's enough hardcore people, especially that watch AEW, are going to be aware of her existence. But it's not going to be like this big OMG free agent moment. Like, even if you would have her come in, drop out of the sky and mushroom stomp somebody, like, no one's going to care.
I mean, if she mushroom stomps somebody, I'm all.
I mean,
for it.
yeah. She. I might like, or I will pop if she just like comes out and is Tony Khan's muscle and just punches every man in the groin all of China.
That's what I'm seeing.
Like, I'll spend money on that one too.
That's what I'm seeing.
That sounds fun.
All right, so
the Muffin's eyes is seeing that.
So listen, we talked somehow. Theoretically, AEW twice. And I blame this hardcore on Rob heavy, right? So Rob's fault, y'all got 2 AEWs. It's that man's fault over there.
Don't even really watch AEW.
It's Rob's kid's fault.
So listen, for myself, these 2 crazies, like, subscribe, share, all that good-ish. We out of here, deuces.
Deuces. Balloons!